day everyone, I am Sir Phil and this is Sir Phil's channel. For today's Mathematics 9 session, we will be dealing with quadratic inequalities. So our objective for this lesson is to illustrate quadratic inequalities at the same time to solve quadratic inequalities. So we're going to solve quadratic inequalities in a case-to-case basis. But before we proceed with that, let's have first a concept on how to illustrate quadratic inequalities. So let us have first a recall and let us check if we can determine which are the solution or solutions of each of the following mathematical sentences. So we have here some choices in the box. So what we're going to do is to deal with some linear inequalities here and quadratic equations. So what we're going to do is to determine their solutions or solution sets for the inequalities. Let's start with the first example. So in this particular example, we are given m plus negative 3 greater than 8. So let's have a recall of how to get the solution set of a linear inequality. So in the beginning, we're going to isolate first the variable, just like what we are doing from the linear equation, or when we deal a linear equation, what we have to do is to isolate the variable. The only difference is that the symbol that's I've been using in this particular expression, since when we are dealing equality, we're using equal sign, and when we are dealing with inequalities, we are using the symbols greater than, less than, greater than or equal, and less than or equal. So starting with this, we are given m plus negative 3 greater than 8. So the first thing to do is to isolate the variable m. So this will become m greater than positive 8, and then using the addition property of equality, or just transpose negative to the other side of the equation. So this will become positive 3. So we're going to simplify the right side of the equation. Then we have m greater than 8 plus 3, which is 11. So in this manner, we're going to choose our answer inside the box. So the value of m, so that the inequality will be satisfied, must be greater than 11. So through the choices, which of these choices are greater than 11? So in this particular situation, we're going to choose the letters with one solution because we are dealing with linear inequality. But there are range of answers that can be considered in example number 1. So all answers which are greater than 11. So those are letter D, which is positive 13. And then we have J, which is positive 15. Those numbers are greater than 11. Let's have number 2. We are given here D minus 3 less than 10. So again, we need to isolate the variable D. So that will become D less than, you copy 10. And then transpose negative 3 to the other side of the equation. So that will become plus 3. And then we simplify. This will become D less than 10 plus 13. 10 plus 3, that is 13. So all numbers less than 13 will be part of the solution set of D. So we have E, which is positive 5. And then we have negative 3, which is also less than 13. So that is F. And then we have I, which is positive 7, which is also less than 13. So those solutions can satisfy the given condition or the given inequality. Let's have the third one. We are given 2f plus 7 greater than or equal to 21. So all we have to do is to isolate 2f. So that will become greater than or equal to 21. Then transpose positive 7 to the other side of the inequality. So that is minus 7. And then we simplify. We just copy 2f greater than or equal to 21 minus 7 is 14. The next thing that we need to do is to, again, isolate f. So to do that, we need to divide both sides by 2. So that this will be cancelled. F now will be greater than or equal to positive 7. So that is 14 divided by 2. So the condition is greater than or equal to 7. Again, we're going to find the numbers that satisfy the given inequality. So f is greater than or equal to 7. So all the only one number for each choices. So we have D, that is greater than 7. And then we have 7, which is I, because we have equal to 7. So all numbers that can satisfy the inequality will be a solution set. So the numbers that we are looking for is greater than or equal to 7. So do we have some more for number 3? Okay, so that is J. J is positive 15, which is also greater than 7. Let's have number 4. In number 4, we are given 3W minus 2 less than or equal to 13. So, again, isolate 3W, copy less than or equal to 13. Then after that, you transpose negative 2 to the other side of the inequality. So, this will become plus 2. And then we simplify. We have 3W less than or equal to 15. So that is 13 plus 2. Then to get the solution set of W, we divide both sides by 3. So we cancel this so that W will be isolated. So W now is less than or equal to 5. So this is now the solution set. We have W less than or equal to 5. So which of the letters have or satisfied the given inequality? Less than or equal to 5. So letter E, that is equal to 5. And then we have F, negative 3, which is less than 5. Okay? So that's all for number 4. And then we proceed with number 5. We are given 12 minus 4h greater than negative 8. So again, let's have this negative 4h. We isolate negative 4h greater than negative 8. And then we transpose positive 12. The other side of the inequality, we have minus 12. And then we simplify, we have negative 4h greater than negative 20. And then we divide both sides by negative 4. So this will be cancelled. Please take note in inequality when we divide the inequality to a negative number, the symbol will become reverse. Okay, so if it is greater than, the final answer will become less than. So in this manner, we have h less than positive 5. Okay? Since we divided the inequality by a negative number. So we have h less than 5. So the numbers that satisfies the given inequality are ano? We have less than 5. We have f. Okay, no more. So ang nag-satisfy lang is negative 3. Next, let's have number 6. So number 6 is an example of a quadratic equation. So pwede natin gamitin dito ang factoring. So using the factoring method, we have 2m's. So we could use positive 2 and positive 3 here. Because 2 times 3 is 6 and 2 plus 3 is 5. And then using the zero product property, we could solve m sub 1 and m sub 2. M sub 1 is m plus 2 equal to 0, so that is negative 2. And m sub 2, that is for m plus 3 equal to 0. So m sub 2 is equal to negative 3. So our answer is letter B. The solutions are negative 3 and negative 2. Let's have number 7. We are given d squared minus 8d plus 7 equal to 0. So we can also factor this one equal to 0. So we have d and d. So we have negative 7 and negative 1. Because negative 7 times negative 1 is positive 7. And negative 7 plus negative 1 is negative 8. So our factors are correct. So let's now get the solutions. So for number 7, we have d sub 1 and d sub 2. So for d sub 1, using the zero product property, we have d minus 7 equal to 0. So, babalik na rin lang natin yan. So, d sub 1 is equal to positive 7. Followed by d minus 1 equal to 0. Zero product property. Lipat lang yung negative 1. We have positive 1. So, the solutions are 7 and 1. And that is H. Next, number 8. This is also a quadratic equation. So let us just first transform this into standard form. So we have b squared plus 7b minus 18 equal to 0. So after transforming it into standard form, we get its factors. So we have b positive 9 minus 2. 9 times negative 2 is negative 18, and 9 minus 2 is positive 7. So let's have b sub 1 and b sub 2. Our b sub 1 is negative 9, and b sub 2 is positive 2. So that is letter A. Next, we have 2w squared minus 5w plus 12 equal to 0. This can also be factored. So we could use 2w and w. And for the factors of negative 12, we could use positive 3 here and negative 4. So that is 2 times negative 4, that is negative 8w. 3 times w is 3w. So negative 8w plus 3w is negative 5w. So that is correct. So for number 9, we have 2w plus 3 equal to 0. So we will have 2w equal to negative 3. And then we divide both sides by 2. So that will be our y sub 1. That is negative 3 halves. And to get y sub 2, lilipat lang yan. So that is positive. Okay. That is positive. Positive 4. The answer is positive 4. So we have negative 3 halves and positive 4. And that is letter G. And finally, we have 9n squared is equal to 4. We could actually use here the extracting the square root. Okay, we extract the square root of both sides of the equation so that the square will be cancelled. And then we have 3n, the square root of 9 is 3, and then the square root of n squared is n, equal to positive and negative 2, which is the square root of 4. And then we divide both sides by 3. That will be cancelled. So our n is positive 2/3 and negative 2/3. So that is letter C. So this is just a recall of how to get the solution set of a particular linear inequality, and also the recall on how to find the solution for a quadratic equation, which will be useful later in solving quadratic inequalities. So let us now proceed with the next, which are not quadratic equations. So use the mathematical sentences below to answer the equation that follow. Write QE if it is a quadratic equation and not if it is not a quadratic equation. So in this manner, let us just encircle those mathematical sentences which are not quadratic equations. So recalling the concept of quadratic equation, the highest degree must be equal to 2, or the highest exponent must be 2. And since it is an equation, it must be using an equal sign. So our question here, which are not quadratic equations? I'll give you 10 seconds to determine which of these 9 mathematical sentences are not quadratic equation. Okay, time is up. So let us now encircle with those mathematical sentences that are not quadratic. So starting with 4, 7, 8, and 9. So numbers 4, 7, 8, and 9 are not quadratic equation. And then the rest are all quadratic equations since their highest exponent are 2 and they are using equal sign. So while the other 4, since although their highest exponent are 2, they are not using equal sign. We have greater than here, less than or equal, and greater than here. So therefore, 4, 7, 8, and 9 are not quadratic equation, which will come up with our introduction to quadratic inequalities. So those equations that are encircled here, 2b squared plus 7b plus 5 greater than 0, 2s squared less than 21 minus 9s, w squared plus 10w less than or equal to minus 16, negative 16, and 5a squared plus 21 greater than 9a are quadratic inequalities. So let's have the conceptualization of this lesson. So we have quadratic inequalities are inequalities that contain a polynomial of degree 2 and can be written in any of the following forms. So just like with quadratic equation, still the highest exponent is 2. So we are using here the standard form in which the highest exponent are 2. But in this case, we have 4 different forms. One which is using greater than, and then we have the less than symbol, the less than or equal, and greater than or equal. So as long as they are using this or this symbol, greater than or equal, this symbol which is not equal, so we can say that the mathematical sentence is a quadratic inequality. So this means not equal or unequal. So this can also be considered as inequality, where A, B, and C are real numbers, and A must not be equal to 0. Kasi kapag nag-0 na naman yan, it will form a linear inequality. So we have here some examples of quadratic inequalities. So let's see if it satisfies the given concept or the condition for quadratic inequality. So number 1, we have 3x squared plus 4x plus 1 greater than to 0. So the highest exponent is 2 and it is using greater than. Okay? And then we have d squared minus 169 less than 4d. Again, the highest exponent is 2 and it is using less than. Next, we have 2p squared plus p minus 7 greater than or equal to 0. So again, the highest exponent is 2 and it is using greater than or equal. Next, we have w squared minus 5w plus 10 less than or equal to 0. So the highest exponent is 2 and then the symbol is less than or equal. So these 4 examples here are all quadratic inequalities. Okay, let us check your understanding of this concept. Tell whether the following is a quadratic inequalities. You write QI if it is a quadratic inequalities or not. Okay, let's start with number 1. 3x squared plus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Take note that for us to say that it is a quadratic inequalities, it must be using a symbol of less than, greater than or equal, less than or equal, or not equal. And the highest exponent must be equal to 2. So let us observe. For number 1, the highest exponent is 2. But the symbol that is using is equal sign. So this is particularly a quadratic equation. So therefore, this is not a quadratic inequality. Next, we have x squared minus x plus 1 greater than or equal to 0. So the highest degree is 2, correct? And then it is using the symbol greater than or equal. So this is a quadratic inequality. Next, number 3, we are given 2x squared plus 4x plus 12. It's not equal to 0. So the highest exponent is 2 and it is using not equal sign. So this is still a quadratic inequality. Next, number 4, we are given x squared plus 4x plus 4 equal to 12. So the highest exponent is 2, but the symbol is equal sign. So this is not a quadratic inequality. And finally, number 5, we are given 3x squared plus 4x minus 5 less than 10. So again, the highest exponent is 2 and it is using the less than sign. So therefore, this is a quadratic inequality. Okay, that's all for the illustration. Let's now go over with finding the solution set of a given quadratic inequality. So find the roots of its corresponding equality in solving a quadratic inequality. So we're going to transform first an inequality to equality so that we could find the roots of it. So the points corresponding to the roots of the equality when plotted to the number line separates the line into 2 of 3 intervals. An interval is part of the solution of the inequality if a number that interval makes the inequality true. So we're going to have a case-to-case checking here later when we solve the quadratic inequalities. So let's start with the first one. Find the solution set of m squared plus 7m plus 12 greater than 2, 0. So the first thing to do is to treat first this inequality as an equation. So we write first this inequality as an equation. We have m squared plus 7m plus 12 equal to, wait, we have equal to 0. Okay, so write it first as an equation, and then we solve first for the values of m as a quadratic equation. So that is m plus 3 n plus 4. So that we get m sub 1 as negative 3 and m sub 2 as negative 4. So we're gonna be using this in dealing with the given quadratic inequality. So let's go with the next page. So let us take note first of the given. So going back, the given is m squared plus 7m plus 12 greater than 0. So and then we got a while ago the value of m sub 1, which is negative 3, and the value of m sub 2, which is negative 4. And then let's create a number line. So I know everyone is already familiar with the number line. So we have here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then to the other side, we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. And then the first thing that we need to plot here are the solutions of m, negative 3 and negative 4. So let's plot it on the number line. So we have negative 3 and negative 4. And then it will have two parts, to the right and to the left. And then the third one will be at the middle. So let's get its interval. So starting from negative 3 to the right. So this interval is called m greater than negative 3. So kung ano yung nasa kanan ng number line na na-plot natin, yun yung ititreat natin to the right. And the interval will be always greater than, ano man yung variable, m is greater than, and then yung pinagmulan ng plotting natin, that is negative 3. So yan yung bahagi papuntang kanan. And then we have a part also na papunta sa right, as a left. Yun naman ay from negative 4, kung sino naman yung nasa left. So nasa left yung negative 4, doon sa dalawa doon sa dalawang plinat natin. So yung negative 3 kasi kanan, so to the right yung treatment. So dito sa negative 4, kukuhanin natin yung to the left. So dire-diretso yan. Yan yung nare-represent ng arrow. So from negative 4. So ang interval naman natin dito ay m less than negative 4. So lahat ng less than negative 4 yan. Okay? So by that, we will now go over dun sa gitna. So ang gitna natin dito ay itong nasa gitna ng 4 and negative 3. So parehas lang din yan. Sulat lang natin yung m. Dahil gitna nga yan, less than negative 3 but greater than negative 4. Actually, yan lang din ang isusulat natin palagi. Tapos ang mapapalitan lang itong variable, kung anong ginagamit na variable. Tapos less than lagi ito. Tapos, ang isusulat natin kasunod niya is yung number na nasa left, na nasa right, na nasa right side. Tapos, yung sa kabila, lagi lang din niyang greater than, pabalik ang pagbasa niyan. Tapos, ang isusulat lang din natin nakatabi niya is yung number na nasa right side ng number line na plinat natin, okay? So, hindi naman tayo malilito dyan kasi kung ano yung pwesto niya. So, to the right, -3, and then to the left, -4. So, yan yung in between. So, magkakaroon tayo ng 5 cases dito. And then, naalamin natin kung magsasatisfy ba yung 5 cases na yon. Ngayon, kung ano lang yung magsasatisfy dun sa 5 cases na yon, yun lang yung maisasama natin sa interval ng solution set ng quadratic inequality. So, let's start with the two first, yung m sub 1 and m sub 2. So, case 1 tayo. Kahit ano naman mauna dyan, ang mahalaga, alam natin yung sinubstitute. So, unahin natin yung m sub 1 equal to -3. Sa substitute natin yan dito sa original given para malaman natin if it satisfies the given inequality. So, substitute natin yung -3. We have -3 squared plus 7 times -3 plus 12 greater than 0. And then we simplify lang. -3 squared is 9 minus 21 plus 12 greater than 0. So, yan na yung na-simplify natin. Simplify ulit natin. 9 minus 21 is -12 plus 12 greater than 2, 0. So, simplify lang natin. So, that is now 0 greater than to 0. And then, observe lang natin if it satisfies the given inequality. Is 0 greater than to 0? No. So, this is a false statement. Since 0 is not equal to 0. Next, let's try case 2. Our case 2 will be m sub 2, that is -4. Pero pwedeng magkabaliktad yan. Kung ang case 1 nyo ay -4, tapos ang case 2 nyo ay -3, walang problema doon. Okay, so we have -4 squared plus 7 times -4 plus 12 greater than 0. So, -4 quantity squared is +16. 7 times -4 is -28 plus 12 greater than 0. 16 minus 28 is -12 plus 12. This is still equal to 0. And greater than to 0. Okay, so my question now, is 0 greater than to 0? Okay, no. So this statement is still a false statement. Okay, since it is false, let us now proceed with case number 3. In case number 3, let us use the interval here, this one, to the right. And that is m greater than -3. So, gamitin na lang natin yung pinakamadali na sakop nung m greater than -3. So, kung mapapansin nyo sa number line, sakop niya naman yung 0. So, mas maganda gamitin natin yung 0. Kasi mas madali. So, substitute 0 squared plus 7 times 0 plus 12 greater than to 0. So, ito ay 0 na. Ang matitira na lang is 12 greater than to 0. Is it 12 greater than to 0? Okay, correct. So, this is true. 12 is greater than 0. So, mamaya lahat ng makukuha nating true, yun yung kukunin natin sa solution set. So, let's have case number 4. Ang gamitin naman natin itong to the left. M is less than -4. So, ano bang pinakamadaling sakop niyan? Yung pinakamaliit na lang. So, that is negative 5. So, dun lang naman natin yan titingnan sa number line. And then, proceed with the substitution. We have negative 5 squared plus 7 times negative 5 plus 12 greater than 0. Negative 5 squared is positive 25 minus 35 plus 12 greater than 0. Next, we have 25 minus 35, which is negative 10 plus 12 greater than 0. Negative 10 plus 12 is positive 2 greater than 0. Is it true or a false statement? Okay, so this is another true statement since 2 is greater than 0. And finally, we get case number 5, yung nasa gitna. So, saan tayo kukuha? Dito, sa m less than negative 3 but greater than negative 4. So, in the middle of that, hindi sakto, no? Kasi negative 3 and 4. So, pwede natin gamitin yung 3.6 na negative. Negative 3.6. Kasi negative 3 and 4 yan. So, at the middle, we use negative 3.6. So, substitute natin negative 3.6 squared plus 7 times negative 3.6 plus 12 greater than 0. So, negative 3.6 quantity squared is positive 12.96. 7 times negative 3.6, that is negative 25.2 plus 12 greater than 0. And then we simplify 12.26 minus 25.2 plus 12. And then we will get negative 0.24 greater than 0. Is it true or false? Okay, so this is also false. So as you can see through observing, the only cases that satisfies the inequality are m greater than negative 3 and m less than negative 4. So those are the inequalities that satisfies the given. And then we write it here as our final answer. The interval of the solution set of the given inequality m squared plus 7m plus 12 greater than the 0 are, let's put a bracket, m such that m is greater than negative 3. Kukunin lang natin yung case 3. Or m is less than negative 4. And then bracket ulit. So, kung ano yung mga nag-true, yun lang yung solution set nung m squared plus 7m plus 12. So, doon ang galing yon. So, our solution set, ito yung hinahanap natin. M such that m is greater than negative 3 or m is less than negative 4. Okay, so we can now go over with the next example. Example number 2. So the same manner, we are given here 2z squared minus 5z less than or equal to 3. So again, let us write it first as a quadratic equation in standard form. So this is now 2z squared minus 5z Lipat natin tong 3 dito sa kabila. We have minus 3 less than or equal to 3. Tapos tsaka natin gawing quadratic equation. So to do that, we have 2z squared minus 5z minus 3 equal to 0. 0 na pala to. Sinilipat na natin. Okay, 2z squared minus 52 minus 3 equal to 0. Tapos, itong quadratic equation na to, pwede na natin i-factor. So, by factoring, we could have 2z and z. So, kailangan natin makakuha ng negative 5. So, we could have here 3 and then 1 here. And then, this is negative and this is positive. So, inner outer tayo. 2z times negative is negative 6z. And yung 1 times z is positive z. So, pag kinuha natin yan, negative 6z plus z is negative 5z. Okay, that is correct. And then, let us solve for z sub 1 and z sub 2. Starting with 2z plus 1 equal to 0. Paslipat lang natin yung 1. So, that is 2z equal to negative 1. Then, divide both sides by 2. So, cancel na yan. Ang first z natin value is negative 1/2. For the z2 naman, zero product property. So, z minus 3 equal to 0. Lipat lang yan. So, ang z sub 2 natin ay positive 3. So, we'll now be dealing with this. Yung z sub 1 na negative 1/2 and z sub 2 na positive 3. Okay, so I'll go over now here. Going back, with the given, let's put it here. So, our given is 2z squared minus 5z less than or equal to 3. So, we have solved a while ago that z sub 1 is equal to negative 1/2 and z sub 2 is equal to positive 3. By that, we can now plot it to a number line. Okay, let's put some numbers here. Positive to the right. And then to the left, we have the negatives. Okay. And then, after this, let's plot the points for z sub 1 and z sub 2. Negative 1/2 is in between 0 and negative 1. And we have positive 3. Okay, mas madali ito. Get the interval. Dito to the right tayo, dun sa yung point natin na nasa right. So, yung point natin na nasa right ay positive 3. So, yun yung gagamitin natin na interval to the right. So, this is a greater than positive 3. Tapos, dito naman, gamitin natin yung point natin na nasa left. That is negative 1/2. So, mula negative 1/2 papuntang left side. Ito naman yung z less than negative 1/2. And well, of course, we have the term at the middle. Ito yun. So, So, kopya lang ulit yung kanina. Z, less than, and greater than here. Tapos, ang ilalagay dito sa kanan, kung ano yung number na nasa kanan, that is positive 3. So, ilalagay dito sa kaliwa, kung ano yung number na nasa kaliwa. And that is negative 1/2. And then, kung okay na yan, case to case na tayo. Starting with case 1. So, our case 1, start tayo with C sub 1, negative 1/2. Okay, so, by applying it, we have 2 quantity negative 1/2 squared minus 5 times negative 1/2 less than or equal to 3. Then we have 2 times negative 1/2 squared is negative, positive. This must be already positive. 1/4. And then negative 5 times negative 1/2 is positive 5/2 less than or equal to 3. And after that, 2 times 1/4 is 2/4, or that is 1/2, plus 5/2 less than or equal to 3. 1/2 plus 5/2 is 6/2 less than or equal to 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3 less than or equal to 3. So this is a true statement. Since we have an equal sign, so it can be less than or equal to 3. So that is true. Next, we have case 2. That is naman Z sub 2, that is 3. So substitute 2 quantity 3 squared minus 5 times 3 less than or equal to 3. 3 squared is 9 times 2 is 18 minus 15. 5 times 3 less than or equal to 3. 18 minus 15 is 3 less than or equal to 3. So this is also true. Next, case 3, we're going to use the solution set from here. Z greater than 3. So, sakop niya naman ang kunin na lang natin yung 4, pinakamaliit. So, we have 2 times 4 squared minus 5 times 4 less than or equal to 3. 4 times 4 is 16 times 2 is 32 minus 20 less than or equal to 3. So we have here 32 minus 20, and that is 12 less than or equal to 3. So this statement is false because 12 is not less than or equal to 3. Let's proceed with case 4. Ito naman. Z is less than negative 1/2. So, ang sakop nito ay pababa ng negative 5. So, ang gamitin na lang natin dito ay negative 1. Pinakamaliit. So, that is 2 times negative 1 squared minus 5z less than or equal to 3. Negative 1 squared is 1 times 2 is positive 2. Ito rin pala ay negative 1. Negative 5 times negative 1 is positive 5 less than or equal to 3. 2 plus 5 is 7 less than or equal to 3. So this is also a false statement. Next, we have case 5. Ito madali na to. We'll go over with z less than 3 but greater than negative 1 half. So kung mapapansin nyo naman dito, sakop niya naman yung 0. So pwede tayong gumamit ng 0 dyan. So 2, 0 squared minus 5 times 0 less than or equal to 3. So, ano na to? 0 na to. So then 0 na. 0 is less than or equal to 3. Is it less than or equal to 3? Correct. So this is true. So, ang mga nag-satisfy natin ay case 1, case 2, and of course yung case 5. So, pag kukunin natin yung interval ng solution niyan, solution set, z such that, kopyahin natin itong case 5 kasi nag-satisfy siya. z is less than 3 but greater than negative 1 half. Tapos bracket. So, nag-satisfy naman yung case 5 pero nag-satisfy din yung case 1 and case 2. That is negative 1 half and positive 3. So, lagyan lang natin dito ng equal. Para malahat na natin yung case 1, case 2, and case 5. So, that is z less than or equal to 3, but greater than or equal to negative 1 half. So, this is now your solution set for the given 2z squared minus 5c less than or equal to positive 3. Okay, so let us have now our last example. So at this moment, pwede nyo na ako sabayan ng pagsusolve para matry nyo na kung marunong na tayo. Okay? So we have x squared plus 9x plus 14 greater than to 0. So the first thing that we need to do here is to write it first as an equation. So we have x squared plus 9x plus 14 equal to 0. Tapos, we have to factor it. Then we have x plus 7 here and x plus 2. So we have x plus 7 and x plus 2. 7 times 2 is 14 and 7 plus 2 is 9. Then we get the values of x sub 1. That is x plus 7 equal to 0. So x sub 1 is negative 7. Then for x sub 2, we have x plus 2 equal to 0. So x sub 2 is negative 2. So our solutions are negative 7 and negative 2. So this will be used on the number line. So let's proceed with that. So while I'm doing this, you start your own also. Okay, going back with the next page. Let's go to the next page. Okay, so let's write first the given here. So that is x squared plus 9x plus 14 greater than 0. So we solved x sub 1 a while ago. We have negative 7 and x sub 2 which is negative 2. Then we are ready to plot it on a number line. Lakihan lang natin sa negative side kasi parehas negative yung ating solutions. So we have negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, and negative 8. Then let's plot the points. Negative 2, tapos negative 7. Okay, you get the interval dun sa to the right. So, kung ano yung nasa right, we have negative 2. Kunin natin yung interval niya papunta sa kanan. That is x greater than negative 2. The same manner mula sa negative 7 to the left. So, interval naman natin dyan is x less than negative 7. Tapos, itong gitna, so that is x less than negative 2. Dito yan. But greater than negative 7. So, dito yan. Then, proceed tayo sa case to case. Checking tayo ng case to case. So, case 1, gamitin natin is x sub 1 muna na negative 7. So, substitute. We have negative 7 squared plus 9 times negative 7 plus 14 greater than 0. Negative 7 squared is positive 49. 9 times negative 7 is negative 63 plus 14 greater than 0. We can add up first 49 and 14. So that is 63 minus 63 greater than 0. Then we will get 0 greater than to 0, in which this is false. Next, proceed with case 2. Going to use x sub 2, which is equal to negative 2. So by substitution, we have negative 2 squared plus 9 times negative 2 plus 14 greater than 0. Negative 2 squared is positive 4 minus 18, minus 18, 9 times negative 2 plus 14 greater than 0. Add up 4 and 14, that is 18, minus 18 greater than 0. So we have 0 greater than 0, which is also false. Okay, continue. We have case number 3. Following x greater than negative 2. Sakop niya naman yung 0, so that's si 0. So 0 squared plus 9 times 0 plus 14 greater than 0. So 0 na to, matitira na lang is 14 greater than 0, which is true. Next, case 4. That is x less than negative 8. So, ang ginamit natin dito ay 0. Negative 7 pala. Sorry. Wait lang. So, x is less than negative 7. Tapos, ang gagamitin natin is negative 8. Yung pinakamaliit na lang. Nasakop nung x less than negative 7. So, substitute natin yan. Negative 8 squared plus 9 times negative 8 plus 14 greater than 0. Negative 8 squared is positive 64. 9 times negative 8 is negative 72 plus 14 greater than 0. So we have 64. I-add up natin yung 64 and 14. 64 plus 14 is 78 minus 72 greater than 0. 78 minus 72 is 6 greater than to 0, which is also true. Finally, case 5, which is x less than negative 2 but greater than negative 7. So gamitin na natin yung pinakamaliit. That is negative 3. So we have negative 3 squared plus 9 times negative 3 plus 14 greater than 0. Negative 9 squared is 9. 9 9 times negative 3 is negative 27 plus 14 greater than 0. So let's add up 9 and 14. 9 plus 14 is 23. Minus 27 greater than 0. So 23 minus 27 is negative 4 greater than 0. Is it true or false? Okay, so this is a false statement. Okay, so this is a false statement. So let's now get its interval. The solution for x squared plus 9x plus 14 greater than 0. So the cases na nagsatisfy are case number 3 and case number 4. So our solution set here, ito na lang. X such that x is greater than negative 2 or x is less than negative 7. That's it. This is our solution set for the quadratic inequality x squared plus 9x plus 14 greater than 0. So that is x such that x is greater than negative 2 or x is less than negative 7. So yun yung mga solution set na magsasatisfy dun sa given inequality. Okay, so the secret in math is practice. So mag-practice lang kung paano natin ma-master ito. Actually, madali lang to. Medyo mahaba nga lang yung case-to-case checking. Pero mabilis lang siya kapag na-master na natin. Okay, so that would be all for solving quadratic inequalities. Thank you for listening. See you again on our next lesson for Module 8 naman, next meeting. Okay, thank you for listening. This is Sir Phil and this is Sir Phil's channel. Bye!